everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of WLD, thank you for joining us. One of the great things about WLD, like I said, is it's you that gets to host and throw these events. Curdy and Tracy have done a great job of putting this all together. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Lily, who is going to, because she knows our guest personally. So I'm going to hand it over to her so she can do the introduction.
So I've known Angela for about 9 months now. I have been personally victimized by her food. At first, the portion looked really small. I actually had one, but I ate it already. So it's actually, when you first see the portion, you kind of get a little nervous and you think, well, what else am I going to eat? But then as you realize, as you're actually eating the food, you realize your body can use a lot less than what you typically eat. And then it's so good, you typically want more. But her food is actually amazing. And thanks to her and different aspects of my lifestyle changes, I've been able to lose 65 pounds in the last 9 months. Yeah, so thank you. So, yeah, no kidding. So it's just, consistency in keeping, the positive mindset, and I owe a lot to Angela and the positive vibes that she gives and the amazing food that she makes. I mean, I can't even imagine the time it takes to do what she does and the price point that she gives. Yeah, the price point that she gives, and I know she puts a lot of love into her food because you can taste it. To the point that, side note, to the point that not only has my husband started eating it, which is really weird because my husband lives on fast food, even though he's like super athletic, he loves fast food. But he now eats the meals, and now recently my mom, she's diabetic, and she has had a lot of problem with her diabetes lately. She has recently joined in and has been purchasing her food, and she loves Angela's food. So the reason I say all this is because she knows a lot about wellness and nutrition and fitness. So I think this is a wonderful person to bring today to learn a little bit about, nutrition, because she kind of knows something about it, I guess. So, Angela, she's Fit Mama.
Thank you, Lily. This woman is, I swear, she puts in work. Every time I see her, she looks slimmer and leaner, and she just puts in work. So she inspires me, and to me, that's what it's about. See, my first time. I'm just going to let y'all know. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about myself, just to kind of get it started, my testimony, basically, and how I got started, why I did it, and just reasonings. My name's Angela. Everybody knows me as Fit Mama, and basically, I have been doing this fitness journey for 7 years now. I'm 36. I started when I was 29. I've struggled with weight gain my whole entire life. I had a really rough childhood. I am from Louisiana, so growing up, that's where the accent's from. So if y'all can't understand something I say, just be like, what'd you say? So basically growing up, we had the family, and I'm sure a lot of y'all can even relate because it's in a lot of cultures, especially in the South, where if something's wrong, well, come on, honey, let's go in there and get y'all some tea cake or some cake, or my great-grandmother, come on, honey, let grandma get you some of this, so it was always, we went out, we celebrated with food. If we, no matter what it was revolved around food, and it was never healthy. So we had fish fries and crawfish rolls and, and just all kinds of crazy stuff to where it's just, it was easy to pack on weight at a young age, and then it didn't help. I was sexually abused at a young age too, so that actually put in, a lot of stuff, and then we were poor. So I had a really rough childhood, and so that kind of led me now though today that I'm thankful for of who I am. And growing up, I did not have a lot of faith in what I looked like. I was bullied in school. A lot of people probably can relate to that. Kids are mean. And I have 2 boys. I am a single mom of 2 boys. They're older now, so me and their dad share custody, so they're older and they think dad's cooler than mom right now. So although I did take my oldest one to Ireland for his 16th birthday this summer, and so I was the cool mom right now for him. So, but anyway, so I'm eating that up this year, so he's all about mom right now these last few months. But that'll probably pass, so. But anyway, so going back to that, trying to figure out where I left off. Going back to basically having 2 kids, getting pregnant early on, getting married early on, because that was the right thing to do to me and family, Christian values and things like that. So I struggled a lot. I went through a lot of depression. I was on antidepressants early in my 20s, still coping with a lot of things, life. We all go through things. We all have our story, and I know that with each and every one of y'all. At 29, I was 243 pounds. I went back and forth a little bit, probably in my late teens, but I kept my weight on from 20 up. So I ended up getting to about 200, I'm close to about 250. I think the last time I weighed in on the scale was about 243. I'm pretty sure it was a little bit more than that when I started, but I went into the doctor's office. I was constantly sick. So in my 20s, after I got pregnant for the first time, I ended up getting, the first cancer I got was cervical cancer, and I ended up having 4 more types of cancer throughout my 20s. And a lot of people think, oh, well, that's sad, but I'm kind of like a little bit of a health nut now, so I do believe that a lot of our sickness is led on by a lot of our mind. So if we are constantly stressed, if we are on the, constantly depressed, have anxiety or things like that, I believe that leads on more sickness. You can actually make yourself sick by physically thinking, I'm sick. And this is mostly women. How many times, when we were younger, we thought we was pregnant, we ended up having symptoms. And I know, that's kind of a common thing, not even pregnant. So your mind actually plays a lot with your body. So looking back now, I know it wasn't just one of those things. I was mentally sick, which was physically making myself sick. With the weight and everything. I ended up getting tested for diabetes, positive. And how we find that out is I was constantly going in with bladder infections, kidney infections, just constantly sick. I had lower back pain, so I was needing to get injections for pain. I was seeing a chiropractor every single day. I actually ended up working for one because I was seeing them so much. So I ended up managing a chiropractic office, which was actually one of the best things that happened because they actually taught me a lot about health. And how to eat right and things like that, and took me to seminars. They ended up taking me in under their wing and loving me to pieces to where we just, I learned a lot through that with fitness and nutrition. And so I decided at 29 when he told me, well, you know what, Angela, you're fat, you need to lose weight. And so since you're not going to do that, I've been seeing you for about 2 years now. You have 2 options. Either you do decide to lose weight or we're going to put you on insulin. So he's like, I can give you 30 days to make a decision. And I was like, I'm 29, I don't want to be on insulin. I have 2 boys, and when I say I had 2 boys, that meant a lot to me because they were into sports. So I couldn't go to their football games. I couldn't run around with them. I'd be out of breath. My back would be hurting so bad that I was just like, hold on, boys. Mama will be up there with y'all just a second. And just like, it's just one of those things where it's like I could never keep up with them. They weren't proud of me. I saw they were embarrassed when I went to school with them and things like that, and that hurts. And that hurt, and I didn't realize how much it hurt for them. And so I felt selfish at that time. And so I was like, you know what, it's time to do this for them. I need to be the mom that they need to be. So I decided to do what my doctor told me. At that time, my doctor told me the best thing to do was to basically get on some sort of protein shake because I was busy. I was working. He said, so we're going to put you on some sort of high protein diet, low carbs, high protein diet. So that's what I did. Had my 2 shakes a day, 2 healthy protein snacks, and a healthy meal. And that instantly, within the first 30 days, took off 15 pounds. I didn't do anything but just that. And so that took off 15 pounds, and I was like, okay, I was feeling better. I could notice, like, in the mornings before that, I would get out of bed, and my knees would buckle, and they would just, they wouldn't hold my weight up. They just hurt. It was so much pain, I'd literally fall to the ground at times. And I see you shake your head, it's painful. And my husband at that time would come around the bed, and he's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm like, just give me a minute. My body's got to adjust, to waking up in the morning. You shouldn't wake up in the morning, your body have to adjust to getting out of bed. That's not really, to me, a way to live, and I wasn't even 30, So I decided to put in a little bit more work. Didn't know too much about fitness, so I grabbed what most people do when they're embarrassed to go to the gym, because I was 240 pounds and I was embarrassed to go to the gym, didn't know what I was doing. So I grabbed at Walmart a Jillian Michaels, what was that? It was Jillian Michaels something. It was like, it said something, lose weight, 9 minutes a day or something. I was like, oh, 9 minutes? I can do this. And so, anyways, let me tell you, I couldn't make it through the 9 minutes. I think I made it through like 9 seconds. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, I can't do this. And so anyway, so basically it took me probably about a month of doing that. And then a friend of mine, actually my sister-in-law at that time, brought over, I don't know if anybody knows what P90X is. Yeah. And I thought Jillian Michaels was hard. She's like, oh, she's like, here, honey. She's like, you're working out now. She's like, try this. I just got it. And she's like, I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to give it to you. Yeah. Well, and needless to say, the first video in, I think I got through almost 9 minutes, which, if y'all have ever done it, it's the stretching. That's pretty much just the stretching. I literally was like, that's the workout. I'm done. So I couldn't really get even through the stretching, y'all, and that's how bad it was. So when I tell y'all this, it's not, I know I'm poking fun at myself, but I know a lot of people have these same problems, and it's not about, man, she's fit, they can do that. And I say this because we do hold fit camps and stuff like that, and I'll tell y'all a little bit more about that in a minute. But people don't come out because they're embarrassed or they can't get through stuff. But you know what? We all start out somewhere. And that's what I kept telling myself. And I found people to inspire me. I found people that I wanted to be like or look like, or, you know, the other moms and things like that that had already lost weight or been through a journey. And I was like, let me keep looking at them. Let me keep looking at them. Because I didn't have anybody support me. Even my husband at that time was like, you don't need to lose weight. You look great. I like you how you are. Don't lose weight. You know, like, you're fine. Da, da, da. My mom, nobody was like, and support me at that time. Nobody. And I'd done a few bad diets. I did Weight Watchers, Atkins diet, the Mayo diet, the cabbage diet, you know, y'all know. And so I'd done a few bad diets, and I was like, and so I'd lose like 10 pounds, maybe 15 if I was lucky, gain back 10 pounds plus 30 or something, you know. And so they're like, don't do this, because you keep getting bigger instead of losing weight. And I was like, no, I need to do this. And so it seemed like the more people that told me, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, like, you're fine, you know, there's medication for what you're, you know, all this stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm sick of it. I want to be somebody that can help people, inspire people. And I use that as my motivation, along with looking at other people. And so I decided I got so determined. And a lot of people say, well, what motivates you? To me, you can be motivated, but anybody that's done a fitness diet, I don't push motivation, even though I do feel like we need it. And I try to keep myself motivated, but we won't be motivated every day. I've been doing this for 7 years. You will not be motivated every day at all, in any way, shape, or form. There will be days you look at the gym and literally go back home. I've literally drove up to the gym, sat in the parking lot a few times, looking at the gym. How am I gonna do this today? Literally just talked myself out of it, drove back home after I drove 10 minutes to the gym. I've literally went to the bathroom in the gym, girls. Literally put my stuff in there, been like, walked out, no, go back in to pee, grab my stuff, leave. That's how bad I've been unmotivated. So I tell people, don't ask me what drives me for motivation, because it's not. The only thing that keeps me going is discipline. That's it. That is it. And if you don't have discipline, like, to me, it's like, you can have all the motivation in the world, but it's gonna pass. Just like that first feeling of love when you fall in love, it's gonna pass. Like, you might love them, but that feeling of butterflies and everything, you know, it's gonna pass. But I mean, it's motivation, it passes. And I know we need to keep it every day, just like we need to keep church in our life and all that every week. But it's discipline at the same time. It's discipline to get up and come to work every day. You have to do it. So it's priorities and it's discipline. So my priority was my kids, and I knew I needed to be disciplined. And I am a disciplined person just in general as my nature when I set my mind to it. So that was a little bit easier to help. Just like one of those things where I'm like, well, I want to do this, I'm going to do it. My mom's like, you've just always been one of those people. So I lost 100 pounds in 10 months. So that was, people were like, oh my gosh, how did you lose 100 pounds in 10 months? And I was disciplined. My birthday cake was watermelon cake. My mom was like, what do you want for your birthday cake? No, I don't want a cake. And I was like, Mom, I want 100 pounds weight loss. I was like, I want to get down to 143. And she's like, no, honey, it's your birthday. Let's have a splurge meal. No, Mom, I don't want a birthday cake. So I was like, so I found this like pretty watermelon cake with strawberries, and it was decorated with berries and pineapple, and it was real pretty. And I was like, can you do this? And she's like, I am, but everybody else is having cupcakes. So I was like, that's fine. So I had watermelon cake, y'all, for my birthday that year. So I seriously, and this was the first year that I was crying. So I was just like, I don't want to do this. But it's just, I was determined. And sometimes you have to be like that. And then but I knew once I got to that 100 pounds and I could say I could do it, then I knew, like, okay, people's done this. I've seen people lose 65 pounds. I had a girlfriend that was following. She had 2 moms. She lost 65 pounds. 2 kids. She had 2 moms. She had two kids, but she lost 65 pounds. And I ended up meeting her, and she was kind of, famous in the fitness world or whatever. And she inspired me so much. I was like, man, if she can do this, I can do this. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. There's no difference between her. She worked. She had 2 kids. She, single mom. I was like, she can do this, I can do this. Like, so nobody's different than anybody else. And that is one thing that I feel like I'm sweating. So if I do, I'm gonna sit down and not. And so, and that's one thing I like really had to like focus on is just keeping that motivation with other people and that determination. So I basically, after the 100-pound weight loss, I didn't know about still lifting weights because I still couldn't even make it through, even the 100-pound weight loss, y'all, I still could not even make it through the whole P90X system. But I did work my way up to where I was like, still in level 1 on each one of them. I never hit, I don't even know if I could do level 2 now, y'all. To be honest, I really don't. That thing, I don't know if I recommend that one, but anyway, so, no, I do. But, so it's not, at that time, it's not about like, I had loose skin, a lot of it. I still do, I hide it very well. But at that time I was like, okay, I want to look better. I want to look like that girl. I want to look like my friend that lost 65 pounds. And I want to look better. I want to, I saw all these people. So I actually did end up going to a bodybuilding show that I won. I saw on Instagram, they were doing an ab challenge. Well, whoever wins the ab challenge, it was like a big event, ab challenge. We're taking you to Vegas to a bodybuilding show. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's try it. I didn't figure I'd win. Ended up, I think, 65 participants, and by the end of it, only 6 people stayed in it, obviously, because, it's one of those things. And out of the 6 people, there was 2 girls, me and one other girl, and the 4 guys. And so I guess they weighed the option body fat, looks, pictures, who checked in every week, put in the most effort, made posts, things like that. And so they called me, and they're like, well, you win? And I was like, really? And so, like, you go to Vegas. And so I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I was like planning this trip to Vegas and went to this bodybuilding show, and I saw this, she was 65-year-old. I don't know if a lot of y'all follow anything fitness and nutrition, but her name is Ruby Carter Pikes. If nobody knows who she is, y'all need to pull her up on social media, website or whatever, but her name is Ruby Carter Pikes. She's 65, grandmother of like 14 children. She gets up there and beats all these 20-year-olds. Looks amazing. I'm just like, 65, and she looks like this, oh my gosh. And I was like, I want to look like, I can do this. If she can do it, again, if she can do it, I can do it. So from that moment, I looked at my friends. It's like, what can I do to look like this? They're like, well, we need to adjust your training and we need to adjust your diet and things, because right now you eat like a bird. And because I didn't eat a lot. And I was like, okay, so, and I'm telling you that part because as you have different goals, you will need to change different things about your lifestyle. Whatever your goal is, it just depends on what that is. And then you'll have to change that accordingly. So I ended up doing 2 fitness shows. I didn't win, but I wanted to be able to say, hey, I did this, and show other moms, no matter what you put your mind to, you can do it. And that's ultimately every day when I wake up and I don't want to post something and I don't want to encourage people and I don't want to reply back to the 50 emails I have that day, I think, okay, if I can encourage one person to change their life, then to me that's worth me doing what I do every day. And I do love it, but again, I don't stay motivated every day. Doing it for 7 years, I have fell off a few times, but I always kind of put myself back on track because of my kids. They're so proud of me. And that's like my aha is my kids, that when they post pictures or they say, Mom, are you coming to the game? I told my friends, and I get there, and they're like, your son, oh my gosh, will you flex for us? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to flex for y'all kids. Like, this is so weird. So, but that they're so proud of me. It's kind of hard to let them down, and
Yeah.
I just, that's you know, that's my aha. That's my reason. So, anyways, that's my why. That's basically how I did it.
So they're all wanting to know, are you going to flex
Flex
for
for
us?
I have some magazines. I'm flexing in quite a few of them.
It's much better in person.
I'm scared to right now. I'm so sweaty. But yeah, so I might later. I don't know if y'all want to take a picture or something. I'll flex. But yeah, I'll picture with you flexing. And I have been in a few magazines. That was another aha for me. I've been in 5 magazines: Muscle and Fitness magazine, Train, Women's Health, a few small other ones. But those are the big ones. But they just saw my story because I had cancer, diabetes. I was on depression medication, lifestyle, grown up poor, sexually assaulted, things like that. A lot of magazines, grabbed that and ran with it. So it's not one of those things where I like boast about usually, but if I come to these events, I kind of I am very, very humble about those things just because it's life and life is hard. So, and I know everybody has things they've been through, but enough about me. I know y'all came to, but I just wanted to share with y'all of why I'm doing this and why I try to help people. But I know y'all came to hear about fitness and nutrition. So I want to talk about fitness first because I want to leave nutrition last because to me nutrition is the most important. And save the best for last. Fitness, I already talked a little bit about how I got started on fitness. When I basically recommend fitness to people, I try to tell them to start out slow, depending on your activity level. So even if it's fit camps and stuff like that you're coming to and joining us here in San Antonio, I tell people, do it at your own pace. I mean, I'm going to push you, but if I see you can't do something, I'm not going to be able to go over there. Now, if I see you can do something, this woman here doesn't give herself enough credit. I've even been to the gym with her, and I'm like, you are so much stronger than you think. Quit. So, but she's been doing it for a while, so I'm sure when she started out, but sometimes like her, she keeps the mentality that, well, I can't lift that, or I can't squat that, or I can't, and she can. So, and a lot of that is just pushing past that, yeah, if she can do it, I can do it. So you have to keep, and that's what I tell her, she's so strong. And that's, being in the bodybuilding or whatever, I love lifting weights because that helped firm my skin up. It gave me strength. It made me feel empowered as a woman. It made me feel I can do something, And so I love that. Even if it's 10-pound weights, that's what I started out with, was 5 and 10-pound weights. And I thought, I can't lift that. And then when I started getting into bodybuilding, they're like, you will lift that. Try it. And I'm like, oh God. And it was hard, but I cried and screamed, I puked, you name it, through some of those workouts. But I kept doing it because I love that motivation of feeling myself, of feeling strong and empowered. So, and sometimes we need that because, we go through life and we go through the drive-through or at Walmart or wherever, people constantly putting you down. Somebody will cut you off or flip you off and you just feel smaller, or somebody, says something about you, man, you gained weight or something like that this week, or, somebody says, you look tired. So little things like that, you think nothing about it, and the person saying it thinks nothing about it, but it starts putting you down. Like it starts mentally, you take that in subconsciously, and you start dragging a little bit. So going to the gym every day was my aha. That was my pull myself back. I know I can do this. I know I'm empowered to do this, and it made me feel stronger. And so when I tell people to start out small, I mean start out with what you can, but I always tell people really push yourself. Like last night at camp, we had weights out, and the girls had never done 45-pound back rows. Well, I can do 135 pounds. So I'm like, well, if I can do 135, and yes, I've been doing this y'all can do 45. I don't want to hear no lift. I didn't let nobody else use 40, because unless they had injuries. I asked if anybody had injuries. Then I did pull out a 25-pound bar for one lady that did have an injury, because you do have to be safe. I've not been safe. I've tore my rotator cuff twice. I've pulled my hip out of socket twice. So you have to be safe. After 7 years, I'm more about safety prevention and what works for your body than I am about, just do it, you know. I used to be like, just do it. Now I'm just like, okay, wait, no, you're not doing it right. Let's adjust the weight, let's adjust. So that comes from trial and error for sure, and learning and going to school. And so basically on that, it's if anybody needs help, we do have camps on. I told you I'll touch briefly on that, but I'm not here to push y'all to come to camps or anything like that. I actually am hopefully next spring. I used to hold a free class down at the Pearl on Saturday mornings, and in the spring I really want to start that back up where we just go and just do like a little top circuit thing at the Pearl at your own pace again. And so just different activities, and I want to open that up again to the community because it actually got kind of big, and people love free workouts, and it helps you learn stuff. And that's my biggest thing is people learning new things to take with them, whether it be at home, gym, camps, whatever you do, just do something. And some people are like, I just don't have time for the gym. I can't. Well, you know what? There's a parking lot out here, so when you go to work, I want you to park across the street and walk over here. Don't ever take the elevator, take stairs. If you gotta go to the lunchroom, I want you to walk around the building first before you go to the lunchroom. And that's the little things I tell my people that say, I just don't have time for the gym. I can't, I work, I go home, I do this. Well, you know what, but you still drive to work. So in that case, you know, make sure you go up the stairs 5 times, leave something upstairs on purpose if they have a 2-story house. But, you know, leave something upstairs on purpose so you have to go back up there 5 more times to get it. I know that's time consuming, but hey, you ain't got time for the gym, so an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes a day here and there, it adds up. And those people actually get results, believe it or not. And on that part, it's more, if people has more questions, I do have cards. Fitness is a lot to it, and just because anybody in here, if they need help fitness, I have basic fitness nutrition plans. I also have customized ones, but I have basic. So if anybody needs a basic nutrition plan, I don't mind emailing that to y'all. All y'all have to do is just text me your email if you want to grab one of your cards. They're all home workouts. So if anybody is working out at home, it's not gym workouts. I mean, I guess you could implement some of it at the gym, but it's home workouts. I don't mind emailing any of that for y'all that came today. So if y'all want to do that and y'all are interested, just let me know through text or email, either one. But nutrition, I know y'all get tired and some of y'all are like, okay, we're having lunch, I need to go lay down and stop talking. I'm almost done. And so nutrition, though, is the most important one. I do own a meal prep company here in San Antonio. Basically, my meals do start out at $5 a meal. Lately, I've been pretty picky and limited to who I take because I want serious people. I want people that, you know, are trying to either make their life easier or, you know, that just doesn't take it for granted because I do put a lot of work into my meals. And I have 60 clients, and so it's like I'm at the point where I can kind of be a little bit picky. So, but it's like it's important for me to some of these clients have been prepping with me for 4 years. I know they're serious, you know, and some of them's lost 60, 70, 80 pounds, and I know they're serious. So those people are important to me because I know they're trying to change their life and they're trying to. But I'm not saying I don't help anybody, but I try to put more effort into the ones I can see that want. So I do have that available through, and I also do like just plans. So if you are a good cook and you know, say, hey, I can cook my chicken on my own, I can make my own meal prep. I do have plans too as far as that, if anybody's interested in that. I have basic plans, not customized because it takes a lot of time, but if anybody wants a basic plan, same thing, I'll send you a basic plan, just standard of what you can do. It won't have like recipes or anything, but it'll be standard of just ideas of how you can lose weight. Or if you're trying to gain weight, some people are trying to gain weight. So. And then as far as nutrition, I do tell people to track. That's like the biggest thing. If you don't know what you're putting in your body, then you don't know what you're putting in your body. It's easy when you're on meal prep because I do all the tracking for you. But although you're left 2 days out of the week by yourself, because I only do 5-day plans. But and that's good though, because I actually want that because realistically, you can't meal prep to your 100. You know, like so I want you to take those 2 days and try to. You could, I guess. You can't. But I do want you to learn how to do it on your own. I don't expect you to meal prep with me for eternity. So, and if you are married or have kids, you need to learn how to meal prep on your own too, or even learn how to, if you're not wanting to meal prep, even learn how to shop. So people, I have the biggest text, I get like 15 texts a day. People like, I'm going here to eat, what should I order? Okay, so I actually have a copy and paste system now for different restaurants or different places. Like if they're going to seafood, order this. If they're going to Chinese food, they order this. So that's how many people text me, what should I order? Or I'm going to a birthday, what should I do? And I'm like, so those things, you know, are obvious. So, but you gotta live, you gotta have life. And a lot of times on the birthdays, I just tell them, have a piece of cake. You know, like, you've done good all week, have a piece of cake. You've been working out all week. So, and that's because I'm not all about the price. Yes, I've lost the weight in 2 months and I didn't have the cake. I know you are thinking, she had watermelon cake, but no, I mean, still you have to live. You have to, you know, not completely just kill yourself, because then you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of doing this. But I do tell people to track, and I know a lot of people don't know about macros, how much fats, how much calories, how many, you know, grams of protein you're supposed to be eating a day and things like that. But one thing I do try, if they are wanting that information and they're not wanting to, you know, keep on meal prep forever, I try to help them, teach them. You need this many grams of protein a day. If not, then I'll just give them the food and be like, if you don't want any information, no, I'm just kidding, I do, just don't try it. But, so it's about tracking, making sure you're eating the right things, and it's little things. Like I tell people to start out small. Even people that aren't prepping with me, start out small. So a lot of the biggest people, especially in America, is we consume most of our calories in these bottles. So most of our calories are consumed in bottles. And the average person, average female, only needs anywhere from 12 to 1,600 calories a day, depending on if you work out or not, and your size and all that good stuff. So when you're consuming anywhere from 300 to 600 of those calories in bottles, you're not left with many left. So it's like, okay, and that's not very filling. Nobody can ever say, hey, I drank a Dr. Pepper and I was full. You know, like, so, or I drank that apple juice and I was full. Like, you know, you might be full for like 5 seconds, but it's, you're not, and it's not going to be substantial for you. So first thing I have my clients do is eliminate calories from bottles, because that is wasted. It's just completely wasted. And then other things like make sure you're switching over little things like instead of chips, grab, you know, some veggies or just a baked chip. You know, sometimes there's no other option. Just things like that. So I do try to help people on certain nutrition levels of just switching. Sometimes it's just simple switches. Without them even tracking, they get results. So, and I've had tons of clients, once they cut out the liquid, I'm like, just cut the liquid out. Just no more liquid calories at all, like none. And they've lost 15 pounds in 1 month just by doing that. And I'm like, that's crazy, that's insane. I never was a calorie drinker on water and like sodas and juices and all that. That wasn't I ate my weight came from donuts, cakes, burgers, like food. So, yeah. So, and that's crazy. So that always blows my mind when people lose so much weight out of just cutting out some, you know, sugary drinks and things like that. So, that is the first thing I kind of tell people, just to start out somewhere, like walk, you know, if you can, the extra little bit. And as far as detailed information too, I'd love to have, you know, more on that. Some of that's a little bit detailed as far as customized, or depending on if you have diabetes, or, you know, you have to do certain things and things like that. But those are one of the things I like to help people on, so educate. So, oh, and the other thing is clean up your kitchen. Man, even if you have kids, that was the biggest thing. My kids hated me. I got one unhealthy snack a week, and once it was gone, it was gone. So that's what I tried to explain to them, because I didn't want them to be deprived. So I'd let them go pick it out every week each. They'd get their own, and sometimes they share. So when we went to the grocery store, I let them pick out Oreos, or pick out Little Debbie's or whatever. But once it was gone for that week, that was it. Everything else was healthy. Clean up your kitchen. It's not going to kill y'all. And you believe me, you and your kids will feel better about it. And I'm not trying to like hit y'all over the head, but you will sleep better. They will wake up better. You will hate me for saying it, which, you know, a lot of people look at me sometimes like I'm crazy when I say things like that. But if people actually do it, they usually call me and be like, man, that was the best decision I ever did. And sometimes they don't even lose weight. They just feel better. Like, you know, just clean up the kitchen a little bit. So that's a big one, is cleaning up the kitchen. That's the other one I start out with. So, and don't go ever to the grocery store when you're hungry. Wait, or have, these days, what do we have?
Curbside.
Yeah, curbside or what's the
Delivery.
other? Yeah, something like that. Like, order your stuff online, you know, and make sure you stick to it instead of having them ship it to you. So, and if you have to, wait a few hours before you submit it. And so, because sometimes you're like hungry and you're ordering, let's get these Oreos. But then once you think about it, you're like, man, I shouldn't order those. So, but yeah. So planning, that's basically planning to help you stay on track. So that's the biggest thing is we can plan, and that's why meal prep works. A lot of people, it's a no-brainer. Hey, I don't know what to eat today. Grab your meal, grab your snacks, your shakes, whatever, and go. Off out the door, or it's already there for you when you get home, vice versa if you need dinner or lunch. That's why it works, because planning is the biggest key, especially if you don't have time to track. Like, a lot of people don't have time to track. Y'all are busy, y'all are working and all that, so most people have kids and all that. So, and the last thing to kind of tie that in is how a lot of people say, how do you keep it when life happens? What happens when you get sick? Or what happens when you got to travel, because my dad's in the hospital in Dallas for the week? And what happens when we go on vacation? What happens when the kids are at a baseball game and there's nothing? Again, that goes back to a little bit of planning. It's not hard to eat out. It's not hard, and the thing is yes, I cook a lot, but I've also traveled a lot, especially lately. And it's not as hard as you think. If you need help, a lot of you coaches, a lot of trainers and stuff like that will help give you plans through your traveling, through your times of going to the hospital, sitting there all day. Again, that sticks with discipline, even though once, sadness and all that kicks in, it is hard. But then that's when I tell people, grab a buddy, hey, call me, text me. And sometimes if I know people are struggling through that, I'll text them and be like, how you doing? Staying on your meal prep? I know they don't want to hear about, if they're eating healthy and they're sitting in the hospital with your dad, but man, your health is important too. You want to be in the hospital next week with your dad? Like, come on, just stay on track. So it's important. And I say that because I have had 33 surgeries in my 20s alone, and so that's not counting my 30s. So I've had 33 surgeries in my 20s. It's not fun to be sick. It's not fun to be sick. So it's miserable to sit in the hospital or to be constantly in the doctor's office, and it's time consuming. So when people say I don't have time, I'm like, I don't really, you say that until you are having to make a doctor's appointment every week. So, and then going through chemo, things like that, you say that until you have to go in the doctor, and that's time consuming. Let me tell you, that is time consuming. And you make time for that, so why not make time to make your life better now? Why you are not in that shape? And I know a lot of people think they're not really going to be like that, but you don't know, so that's why it's important to make sure you're preparing for that. So, and to close, I know I actually took up more time than I thought I was. I was like, I'm only going to talk for 10 minutes. I don't got a lot to say. To close, basically, I want to keep y'all encouraged. I know I said motivation, but grab somebody. Y'all are here with quite a few women. I'm sorry. But,
Sydney, it works.
Okay. But seriously, y'all are in a workplace, and I know most people spend anywhere from 6 to 10 hours in their workplace a day. We spend more time with y'all, or if you're or you spend more time with these people in front of you than you do at home with the people that you love. So I'm serious, and I know, especially with a room full of women, you got people that don't like each other, that people on the other side that ain't even in here, obviously. We're not talking about the people that are in here, we're talking about the people out there that you don't get along with, or that, think you down, or maybe, you don't speak right, or you don't look right, or you don't dress right. But you know what, at the end of the day, we all bleed the same color. And we all have our own problems, we all have our own, and yes, we have different personalities, but hey, who in here has not fought with their mama, or their sister, or their brother because you don't like what they said, you don't like their personality, you don't like how they dress? Mom, why are you wearing that? Seriously, my mom will be going somewhere, I'm not going with you like that. Nope, change. You look like you're back in 1920. So I gotta cut that out of the video.
Yeah, your mom's gonna see that. Your mom's gonna
cut
see
that out of the video. So, but yeah, no, I'm serious. Come on, that's one of the biggest things. I try not to, even when I walk into a fit camp and stuff like that, and people come in, they're always like, man, people are gonna judge me and stuff like that. I try to make them not feel like they're judged, because we all are human. Encourage each other. Grab a girlfriend, the person beside you, and be like, even if it's something like, hey, let's go eat lunch today, and if you see them ordering something bad, maybe we should get some grilled chicken out. Let's just do better this week. Make a challenge with each other. I know y'all say y'all have these work events a lot. Make it a work challenge. And it could just be with 5 or 10 of y'all. Hey, at the end of the challenge, whoever, wins or whatever, I'm gonna buy your meal prep for the week, or I'm gonna take you to the movies. Or another thing is once a week, just weigh in. Say, hey, we're gonna meet up at, Superheroes Room. We're gonna meet up at somebody's apartment gym, or, do an outside workout or whatever, once a week. once a week sometimes is all it does to check in with somebody. And that's one thing actually I'm fixing to start doing is I really want to start with women, hopefully starting in November if the gym lets me, is do a check-in day. So come in for a workout. I want to make sure the only way you're able to come to the workout is if you're weighing every week, if you're, tell me how you eat, all that good stuff. I want to talk to you. I want to, communicate with you because that stuff is important. You got to be accountable to somebody and it helps. So grab somebody, encourage somebody, and the biggest thing is like just do that, pay it forward. You want to feel special, you want to feel loved, you want to feel encouraged. So just do it to somebody else. And sometimes it can be a stranger at HEB or something like that. So just say something encouraging instead of discouraging. And so that's the biggest thing is that we begin mentally we can affect ourselves either positive, healthy, or negative. So or unhealthy. So it plays a big thing. And I know I was sick because I was mentally sick, and I know that now. So, but anyways, I'm done. Sorry, I don't think I said too many times. Did I?
No.
And so I do want to ask if anybody has any questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question, let's see, where we go.
Okay.
Is there a protein shake that you recommend? Because that's what I've gotten, like I know I want to do it, and it's for losing weight.
I'll get with you later.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, I have to say this, I am not an Herbalife distributor, but I did lose my weight on Herbalife, but I am not an Herbalife distributor at the moment. So I can't technically tell you to buy Herbalife, but I will tell you I took the product to lose the weight, just because of the vitamins and minerals in there. I have taken other products, and there's been a few good ones I really, really like. I've got one of a vitamin shop that I really, really like, so I will say that. So I'm not completely against other products at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that, to me, the best tasting for what you get and kind of bang for your buck, because a lot of people say it's expensive. Man, have you bought any protein other than Walmart? Like, protein in general is expensive. But and then if you break it down, it only comes out to $2 or $3 a meal, and then you think, well, what did you just spend? Like, you probably spent $8 on your meal. So it's $2 or $3 a meal, maybe $4 at the max, depending on what kind of protein you're putting in it. That's not that much if it's a whole meal. But I personally do take Herbalife. I do take other things, but that's 90% of what I take.
Okay.
So.
And then, so I'm one that I want to start getting back in the gym. I haven't been in the gym probably like in 6 years since I had my babies. But, and it was, so last night my husband was even bringing it up. He's like, are you going to know what to do when you get there? I mean, do you recommend when it's been that long, should you get a trainer for a little bit to at least show you?
Okay, unless you are like one of those geeky people like me that love to research everything first. Yeah. I would recommend getting help. And I say this only because it will make you more confident. It'll keep you going longer. Just because when you get in there, you're not really going to know what to do. If you feel like you already don't know what to do, you're not going to really know what to do. So chances of you actually utilizing that time that is precious to you, that you're already there for, is not going to probably be as good as it could be. Mm-hmm. So why not just go ahead, at least for a month, and get a personal trainer or go to some camps or something like that, just to learn. And once you feel confident to do it on your own, then hey, take off. And if you want to, if some people don't, some people love the fact of having trainers or going to camps and stuff like, and so that works for them. But some people like me, I took off on my own. Like it's one of those things where it's like, okay. So I do, because time is, to me, I always say time is money and it's precious. So I honestly, if you're spending that hour in the gym, you might as well get the most you can for it. So okay. I say yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then you brought up the clean up the kitchen. Is that something you help with? Like, do you offer that service?
Do what?
You said clean up the kitchen. Like,
oh,
I remember I was on Biggest Loser before, and they go and they're like,
yeah,
oh, don't,
yeah.
Get rid of this.
I have before. Actually, some
yeah.
people don't know. So I have actually went to people's houses and done that. And some people that are extremely busy, they'll send me pictures of, and I'm like, all right, now what's hidden in the drawers? Like, so if they don't want me to come over there, or what's in your bedroom?
So when can you schedule something with her is what she's wanting to know.
I don't mind that. I actually love that. Last time I did it, we ended up making a whole date out of it and just chilled out and had fun for that.
So party at Yvonne's.
Yeah. It comes out like a party, and I'm like, we're your girlfriends too. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. Cool. And or pictures, I can help with that too.
Okay. And then do you want to tell me about the cookies?
Oh, yes, sorry, I'm so sorry. I brought protein cookies for y'all to try. It's fall, so I did pumpkin. If anybody likes a pumpkin, I'm sorry. But I do, because I do other flavors, but I figure it's fall, so they're protein pumpkin cookies. I put them in Ziplocs in case anybody doesn't want to eat it now and take it home. They are smaller than the ones that I typically make for my meal prep because I was making them for y'all and I thought, well, if somebody doesn't really like them. But if she's the pumpkin ones aren't good. And so they are smaller. Typically, if you order them through the meal prep company, and because they're crazy sizes right now, I'll measure them out and all that good stuff through the meal prep company. But they're typically, the cookies are about 160 calories, depending on if they have nuts in them that week or not. And give or take about 10 or 15 calories each flavor that changes. Sometimes they'll put nuts or cranberries and things like that. But typically 160 calories. All my protein snacks are anywhere from 9 to 10 grams of protein. And even if you're prepping on your own, I tell people all snacks should have a minimum of 9 to 10 grams of protein. And you think, oh, that's not that much. It is hard to find a snack under 200 calories with at least 10 grams of protein in there. And it limits you a lot. And I'm like, if you can do that, then yeah. So they all have 9 to 10 grams of protein in them. They all have, these actually this week have a mix of Herbalife and a protein I picked up at Vitamin Shop. So I used a mix of Herbalife protein and another protein. So they have 2 different types of proteins in them. So, but anyways, so that's that. And then, any more questions?
There's a lot more over there. You can go get more if you want.
Yes, sir.
How do you manage, like going out on the weekends, have a few drinks?
Why is your face so red?
To where the performance on the
And okay, I will say this, I'm glad you
Show
said
up on Monday.
this. During my depression, I was an alcoholic, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I'd wake up at 9 in the morning. I would consume 2 or 3 bottles of wine that day myself. On top of, we would go through a bottle of vodka, maybe 2 cases of Corona that week. So we literally, I didn't realize how much I coped with alcohol in my depression, so I love to drink. I still do. I have not stopped loving to drink, and I have a coach. I know a lot of people think that, but I've had a coach off and on for, well, I don't even pay her anymore. She's like my best friend. So I have a coach that holds me accountable. So my biggest thing is, what can I drink? I need to drink. So I'm like stressful week or something. And so I try to stick with wine, red wine, of course, and vodka if I do have a drink. And it's a key to limiting it. So it doesn't, but the biggest thing, if you are trying to lose weight, I try to tell people don't do that more than once every 4 weeks. So pick your week out of the month that you want to go out. That is biggest, again, empty calories. That is people's biggest result killer. And the reason being is factually, statistically, by the doctors, alcohol kills your protein synthesis by 20%. So if you are eating the right amount of protein that week and working out, your body needs a certain amount of protein in order for your muscles to grow. When your muscles grow, that's why I tell people don't just do cardio, at least lift a 5 or 10 pound weight. At least build something on your muscles, because the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism will be, and the faster you will lose weight, because it actually is like kind of like, in a sense, people say it's eating up your fat. It kind of is, but it's not like eating up your fat, but it is kind of essentially. So it kills your protein by 20% every time you have one drink. So basically, I tell people if you have drink that week, you might as well kiss all your results you had goodbye. So for that week, not, for that week. So if you put in a lot of work, I would suggest waiting for the next week. And I always suggest mixing it with your cheat meal. And I only like my clients to have a cheat meal once a month too. And I'm talking about cheat meal. Go out, eat whatever the heck you want, however much you want. A lot of people say keep it sensibly. I'm like, no, don't keep it sensibly. Do what you want. You've worked hard all month. It's one day out of the month. And so, and I tell them to mix their alcohol with that, because when you're full, you tend to not drink as much anyway. So that's like me living. Like go out and party one day, not day. I'm sorry, let me take it back. One meal for that. Yeah, not a day, not a day. Yeah, no, not a day. So I tell them one meal. So, but yeah, make it count. Like if you're gonna do it, go big or go home. Like you might as well. And I've been doing that for 7 years, and that's the only thing that sometimes keeps me sensible. So, and my boyfriend, he knows that. He's like, man, because he's getting into bodybuilding now too. He's like, man, when I come down, we're gonna do this. And I was like, no, we're not. We had a cheat meal last time I was with you. No. So again, somebody to keep you accountable, because he's like, you're right. We gotta do that photo shoot next month. You're right. And I'm like, yeah, I've got 10 pounds to lose. You've got, and so, yeah, so yeah. But anyways, so yes.
So do you like find it harder when you do go out, like if you still go out with friends not drinking, like do you still like even
I'm gonna
put
say
yourself in that
It,
situation?
okay,
or-
because I had a drink with her.
Mm-hmm.
It
What?
is. What? Lily's like, I don't drink.
I don't drink.
It is harder, yes. But I do know if I'm going out with friends, I honestly, I am a very busy woman. I don't have a lot of friends. But when I do go out, it comes down to about once a month. I'm honestly so busy. It's usually, and even date night, it's usually once a month. So I know it feels like, because I post a lot of stuff on social media, but it's a lot of times when I'm out, it's still business. So if I do have an extra drink, what I'll try to do, like that month or whatever, what I'll try to do is guzzle water. But again, make sure you get your results first. Don't focus on that. Like, to me, it's like, go ahead. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like going to the doctor's office and you know you're getting a shot, just pulling the Band-Aid off. Like, get it over with. Get your results first, and then focus on living life, like a little bit. So it makes it easier. It really does. But I know you still have 2 dearings, so yeah, it does. It makes it harder, but honestly, sometimes I fake it. So I'm not really a club person because I'm allergic to like cigarette smoke and just different stuff. So I will, if I go out to the club, I'll fake it. I'll go to the bar away from everybody and I'll tell them I'm ordering vodka water and I'll just get water. So, and I maybe act a little sillier. But I'm serious. Like sometimes I just fake it, like, you know, just to keep the peer pressure off of me. Or another faker is, instead of ordering a glass of wine, tell them you want cranberry juice. That's a good faker. Yeah. So, no ice, of course, and put it in the glass. And usually the bartender, like, they already know. There's actually more people that do that than you think there is. So, they already know. I don't get looked at crazy. I thought I would, but I don't. So occasionally I do, but yeah. So just to keep the peer, if I know I'm with a group of friends that will peer pressure me, I do that. Most time people don't care, and it encourages them, and so they'll be like, maybe I shouldn't. I gotta get up and go to work, or I have done good this week, and you know, like, so a lot of times it's kind of like one of those things, you are who you hang around with, and I've lost a lot of friends. So especially the ones that party a lot. And I mean, we still talk, but as far as hang out, I lost a lot of friends. When you change your lifestyle to a positive, you are going to lose certain people, and that's okay. You can still love people from a distance. I still have them as friends. I just don't hang out, and they really realize that, respect it. We're adults, you know. They know. So I mean, they might have judged me a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's like I've been there for you, or you know. So yeah. Sorry, that was a long answer.
I tried Herbalife shakes before, but I'm wickedly allergic to soy. Is there anything?
There's a protein alternative one. It's okay. It's okay. You might want to try it. Some people like it, some people don't. There's some people that, I mean, just that depends. The 24 line does not have soy in it, and then does the beverage mix? I don't think, no, the beverage mix, beverage mix is like it tastes like Kool-Aid, but it's protein in it. It's got like 18 grams of protein or something like that. But it tastes just like Kool-Aid, like literally. You're like, is there sugar in this? Like you're flipping it around, but there's not. It's sugar-free. And so that one's soy-free too. So I think there's like 3 or 4 options. But if you're real big on taste, I would say go with the beverage mix. You can't use that as meal replacement. You can only use it as a snack replacement because there's not enough calories in it. It's only 70 calories. So if you did use it like as a meal replacement, you're going to need to add food with it. And it's inexpensive, that one is. So yeah. And there's like the peach mango is really good. And I like fill it like in a big bottle. I'll put it like just one little scoop, and I'll put like a little bit of aloe or something, and it keeps me full throughout the day. I'll sip on it throughout the day, like in a gallon bottle, just once. Because it's like 18 grams of protein I'm getting throughout the day instead of one setting. So I'll just sip on that all day, and it's good.
Because I'm older, I need some protein.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do. So, and typically, I know this is crazy, but you're supposed to have 1 gram of protein per body weight. at the minimum. If you're gaining muscle, it's supposed to be 1.5 to 2 for men. And you think, okay, well, I'm 160. I need to be having 1 gram of protein, but I gotta stay in my calories. That's where it gets confusing. So if you've got 1,500 calories you gotta consume that day and you need 150 grams of protein, you're gonna be eating a lot of protein that day. And that's what I tell people. I was like that, and that's how I lost my weight. So it was just a simple logic.
How many proteins?
She's like writing it down. That's how much you've been doing.
Is it your-
notes.
Everybody has.
I was like, man, she is really texting. She's over there taking notes. It's 1 gram of protein per body weight for women. Men, if they're trying to gain muscle, it's 2.
Is it per the amount that you are or per
Yes.
the what? Okay.
No, count that you are, because you're eating, because you're carrying this body around right now, and as your body changes, that changes too. So, yeah.
So I wanted to say something that when we went to the gym one time, I was trying to lift some type of weight, and it was something really small. And
Oh, yeah.
I remember her telling me, and it was kind of inspiring. She said, "You're trying to lift 40 pounds, and that's nothing." She's like, "But yet how much weight did you lose?" I said 60. She
Yeah.
said, "So you're carrying 40 and you're complaining about it, but
Yeah.
you were walking around carrying 60."
That actually came from my trainer.
Yeah.
She
And
said,
that one
so I used
hit
to
home.
complain about deadlifting or squatting 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, "You lost 100 pounds." She's like, "What kind of stupid logic is that?" And she's like, "You carried that crap around for over 10 years."
Yeah.
And she's like, "And you're gonna sit here and tell me you can't bend down with 100 pounds on your shoulders?" I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, now that you say it like that, and once I thought, well, yeah, I guess I can, because I've done it.
Yeah.
And once I knew I did it, I could do
Change,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, that makes sense. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense. I know it feels different because you ain't been carrying that weight around for a while. Yeah, that's a good one. Forgot about that.
I like that one.
Anybody else? Yes.
How would you start with your program?
Like the meal prep or the?
Like the meal prep and such?
Just text me. I have cards right here. You can just text me. On the meals, usually I kind of let people pick their own but I do recommend stuff. Like, she already knew when she came what to get because of her program that her coach had her on, because she had a coach before me. And then, but usually I'll recommend something, and then some people, I'm hard-headed, I'm very strong-willed, so some people I don't like to fight with, so I'm like, you know what, let's try it your way for a week or two, and I'll tell them that. We're gonna try it your way for a week or two. You wanna eat 3 meals, 2 snacks, and 2 shakes? It's about 2,200 calories. Let's try it I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna lose weight. But I was like, try it your way for a week or two, and they come to me 2 weeks later, I haven't lost any weight. I'm like, so she's like, let's do that plan you were recommending. So yeah, so that's just text me and I'll talk to you. So yeah. I'll let you be hard-headed if you want for the first week or 2. And then, hey, some people are still hard-headed and they're still been prepping me for a year and they're the same weight, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's your life. So I mean, what can you do? We all live our own lives. You can't make the decision for somebody. And that's one of the biggest things. If somebody has somebody in the room, they're like, I'm gonna go home and tell them about this information. I'm gonna make my sister or my mom or my husband, change their ways because this woman came. No, you're not. No, you're not. It has to be that person makes a decision. So yeah.
Is your Instagram and Facebook information on your card?
Yeah, both of them. But Instagram, Facebook. I just got LinkedIn back. I don't really do Snapchat. I know you love Snapchat. I try to, but I don't. Yeah, I said it was too much. It's too much. Facebook and Instagram, I try because they linked up together, so it makes my life
There you
easier.
go.
Yeah.
The cookies are awesome, by the
Oh
way.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I do. And then the biggest thing is always the guys that will order the cookies, and they'll say, we ate all of our snacks.
First, yeah.
Yeah, we get some more next
Don't worry
week.
about
We're
me.
like, no, you cannot eat 10
Snacks.
snacks in one day. Like, no. Well, you can, yeah. So the first week usually nobody does that well because they're loving the food. So like, man, we ate everything in 2 days. So anyways, anybody else? Thank y'all so much. If anybody wants any personal questions, questions or anything like that, holler at me. I got my magazines here. It's got my story in there. I know I told y'all probably more than it's in the magazine though. Here's the address for our fit camps. I just grabbed those yesterday, and then here's my cards.
They're great.
So, yes.
All right, well, we want to thank Angela for
Aw,
coming out
I do that.
and doing a presentation for us. And thank you for spending time for WLD with us. And,
Oh my
God.
Cover up just in case I have sweat.
You don't, you're being silly.
I read the flex.
I'll take a picture.
All right, you ready? One, two, three.
She's baller.
One more. Got it.
See those legs though.
Thank everyone for attending our lunch.
I've never
and
seen
There's
her
still
in
more
jeans
snacks
in all
back
my
there, and try that good water that's over there as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Always journaling, girl. Always writing stuff down, carrying stuff. I have one in the car, one in my bag, one in my gym bag. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Let me get a good angle.
Where is she? Oh, where are we going?
Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. On her slow finger, she's stuck in there more time. Cheese.
Now I need y'all to flip over. Come on, just be funny. Just be funny. Just be funny.
My little baby flag.
Be silly that way.
Be silly and go high. Y'all cheese.
Oh, yeah.
The vein in my forehead pops out when I'm. Oh, I guess I should.